Ever wondered why two groups that look almost identical can't stand each other's rules? The Amish and Mennonites split apart 300 years ago over shocking disagreements that still divide them today. One group shuns members forever, the other forgives. One lives in the past, the other embraces change. Tonight, we reveal the 10 rules that keep these communities forever divided. Rule 1. Shunning rules. The Amish practice complete social isolation for rule breakers, cutting them off from family, friends, and community forever. Mennonites use gentle discipline and forgiveness instead. When an Amish person breaks rules, nobody can eat with them, do business with them, or even accept a handshake. Mennonites believe this is too harsh and prefer restoration over punishment. This fundamental disagreement about discipline has kept the groups apart for centuries. Rule 2. Car ownership. Mennonites drive cars freely and see them as practical tools. The Amish view car ownership as worldly corruption that destroys community bonds. In Holmes County, Ohio, car ownership is the easiest way to tell the two groups apart. Mennonites believe cars help them serve others and spread their faith. The Amish argue that cars make people independent and selfish, breaking down the tight community connections that keep their faith strong. This transportation divide creates literal and symbolic separation. Rule 3. Church buildings. Mennonites worship in traditional church buildings with organized services. The Amish see church buildings as prideful displays and rotate worship between family homes instead. Mennonites have structured services with worship teams and modern tools like sound systems. The Amish conduct 3-hour services entirely in German without any instruments or modern conveniences. Mennonites believe proper buildings honor God and welcome visitors. The Amish argue that fancy buildings and organized services show off instead of staying humble. This worship style difference reflects their opposite views on engaging with the outside world versus staying separate from it. Rule 4. Education limits. The Amish stop all formal education after 8th grade, believing higher learning creates pride and pulls people away from simple living. Mennonites encourage college education and professional careers, seeing knowledge as a gift from God to serve others. Amish children learn practical skills in one-room schoolhouses and then work in family businesses or farms. Mennonite children can pursue any career path, including becoming doctors, teachers, or lawyers. This education divide creates completely different life opportunities and worldviews. The Amish fear that college education teaches children to question authority and abandon traditional values. Mennonites believe education helps them better understand God's world and serve their communities more effectively. Many Mennonites operate their own colleges and universities, while the Amish actively discourage any learning beyond basic reading, writing, and arithmetic. This fundamental disagreement about knowledge and learning has created two completely different approaches to preparing young people for adulthood and service. Rule 5. Technology use. Mennonites embrace phones, internet, and modern communication tools as ways to connect with others and spread their faith globally. The Amish reject these technologies as community destroyers that create pride and worldly temptation. Mennonites use websites, social media, and email to coordinate relief work and maintain long-distance relationships. The Amish believe technology makes people lazy, distracted, and disconnected from their immediate community. Some Mennonite churches stream services online and use audiovisual equipment during worship. The Amish forbid any technology that connects them to the outside world or makes life too convenient. Mennonites see technology as neutral tools that can serve good purposes when used properly. The Amish view technology adoption as the first step toward abandoning their faith and traditional values. This technology gap has grown wider each year, making it nearly impossible for the two groups to understand each other's daily lives and priorities in the modern world. Rule 6. English language. Mennonites switch to English for worship and daily communication to better engage with their neighbors and share their faith. The Amish maintain German as their sacred worship language and speak Pennsylvania Dutch at home to preserve their separate identity. Most Mennonite services are conducted entirely in English, making them accessible to visitors and converts from any background. The Amish conduct services in High German that even their own children struggle to understand fully. Mennonites believe language barriers prevent them from loving and serving their neighbors effectively. The Amish see language preservation as essential for maintaining their distinct culture and preventing outside influences from corrupting their faith. Many Mennonites actively translate religious materials into local languages around the world for their mission work. The Amish refuse to translate their religious practices or make them accessible to outsiders. This language divide creates a fundamental barrier to communication and prevents the groups from sharing worship experiences or religious discussions. Rule 7. Missionary work. Mennonites actively spread their faith globally through mission work, relief efforts, and community service, believing they're called to share God's love with everyone. The Amish forbid evangelism and missionary activity as prideful behavior that shows off their faith instead of living it quietly. Mennonite organizations operate in dozens of countries, providing disaster relief, medical care, and education to people of all backgrounds. The Amish believe their witness should be through example only, never through active preaching or trying to convert others. Mennonites see their mission work as obeying Jesus' command to go into all the world and help those in need. The Amish view missionary activity as spiritual pride that assumes they know better than others and should change other people's beliefs. This fundamental disagreement about sharing faith has led to completely opposite approaches to community engagement. Mennonites actively seek opportunities to serve others, while the Amish focus entirely on maintaining their own community separation and purity. Rule 8. Clothing colors. Mennonites allow bright colors and varied clothing styles as long as they remain modest, believing outer appearance matters less than heart condition. The Amish require plain dress in dark, solid colors only, seeing bright clothing as vanity and worldly display. Mennonite women might wear colorful dresses, printed fabrics, and modern styles while still maintaining modest coverage. Amish women must wear identical dark dresses, black aprons, and white prayer coverings without any decorative elements. Mennonites believe God created colors for human enjoyment and that restricting them shows legalism rather than true faith. The Amish argue that plain dress prevents pride, competition, and focus on outward appearance instead of spiritual matters. Some Mennonite groups dress very similarly to the Amish, while others blend completely into mainstream society. The Amish maintain strict uniformity in clothing to ensure no individual stands out or displays wealth through their appearance. This clothing divide makes the groups instantly recognizable and reinforces their different approaches to engaging with the world. Rule 9. Medical treatment. Mennonites fully embrace modern healthcare, hospitals, and medical technology as gifts from God to heal the sick and preserve life. The Amish prefer traditional remedies, folk medicine, and natural healing methods, viewing excessive medical intervention as lack of faith in God's will. Mennonites work as doctors, nurses, and medical missionaries, using their skills to serve others around the world. The Amish often delay medical treatment, try home remedies first, and may refuse certain procedures they consider too invasive or expensive. Mennonites believe medical knowledge helps them care for others and steward the bodies God gave them. The Amish worry that relying too heavily on modern medicine shows distrust in divine providence and acceptance of worldly solutions. Some Amish communities have built relationships with specific doctors who understand their preferences for simple, affordable treatments. Mennonites generally carry health insurance and seek preventive care, while many Amish communities rely on mutual aid funds and cash payments for medical expenses. Rule 10. Salvation beliefs. Many Amish believe you cannot know for certain if you're saved and must work continuously to earn God's favor through community obedience and good deeds. Most Mennonites believe you can know you're saved through faith in Jesus alone and that good works are the result, not the cause, of salvation. This theological difference affects how each group approaches daily life and spiritual confidence. The Amish tend toward work-based religion, where following community rules proves faithfulness and salvation remains uncertain until death. Mennonites emphasize personal relationship with Jesus and assurance of salvation through grace rather than performance. The Amish fear that claiming certainty about salvation shows dangerous pride and presumption about God's judgment. Mennonites believe biblical promises give believers confidence and peace about their eternal destiny. This fundamental disagreement about how salvation works has created different approaches to evangelism, community discipline, and individual spiritual confidence that keep the groups theologically separated despite their shared heritage and similar practices. Marriage restrictions. Intermarriage between Amish and Mennonites is extremely rare and creates serious problems for both families involved. When an Amish person marries a Mennonite, they usually must choose one community and abandon the other completely. The Amish typically require the Mennonite partner to give up cars, electricity, and modern conveniences to join their community. Mennonites may welcome former Amish members, but the transition often causes family splits and emotional trauma. Children from mixed marriages face identity confusion about which set of rules to follow and which community they belong to. These marriage restrictions prevent the natural mixing that might heal the historical divide between the groups. Families often pressure young people to avoid romantic relationships with the other group to prevent these complicated situations. Some couples choose to leave both communities entirely and join mainstream churches rather than force one partner to completely change their lifestyle. The marriage barriers help maintain the separation and ensure that the distinct identities of both groups continue unchanged. Business competition. Amish and Mennonite businesses often compete directly while maintaining social separation, creating awkward economic relationships in shared communities. Both groups excel at furniture making, farming, and traditional crafts, but they market their products differently and serve different customer bases. Mennonite businesses use modern advertising, websites, and credit card processing to reach wider markets and grow their operations. Amish businesses rely on word-of-mouth reputation, cash transactions, and local customers who visit their farms and workshops directly. This creates tension when customers compare similar products and prices between the two groups. Mennonite entrepreneurs may hire Amish craftsmen for their skills, while maintaining separate business identities and religious communities. The groups sometimes cooperate on large projects like disaster relief construction, but return to separation once the work is finished. Business success becomes a way for each group to prove their approach to life works better than the other's methods. This economic competition adds practical stakes to their theological and lifestyle differences. Youth rebellion. Young people from both communities often rebel by joining the other group, seeing the grass as greener on the opposite side of the divide. Amish teenagers may be attracted to Mennonite freedom with cars, education, and technology during their Rumspringa period. Mennonite youth sometimes romanticize Amish simplicity and community closeness, especially when feeling overwhelmed by modern life pressures. These youth transitions create family heartbreak and reinforce negative stereotypes each group holds about the other. Parents often blame the other community for corrupting their children rather than addressing their own group's shortcomings. Young adults who switch sides frequently struggle to fit in completely and may feel caught between two worlds throughout their lives. This pattern of youth rebellion serves as a safety valve for both communities, but also creates ongoing tension and mistrust. Each group points to young people leaving for the other side as proof that their warnings about the other community were correct all along. Technology worship. Mennonites embrace worship technology like sound systems, projectors, and recorded music to enhance their services and reach more people effectively. The Amish forbid any mechanical aids in worship, believing that artificial enhancement shows lack of faith in God's power to work through simple human voices. Mennonite churches may live stream services, use PowerPoint for scripture verses, and play instrumental music during worship times. The Amish sing only a cappella hymns from memory in slow, traditional melodies that can take 15 minutes to complete. Mennonites argue that technology helps elderly members hear better and allows shut-ins to participate remotely in church life. The Amish counter that dependence on machines for worship demonstrates spiritual weakness and distracts from direct communion with God. Some Mennonite churches use electric guitars, drums, and modern worship songs to attract younger members. The Amish maintain that any change to their ancient worship style corrupts the purity of their religious experience and connection to their ancestors.